I don't play around when it comes to that bread and butter, yeah. I put that on my dead brother, yeah. Listen, guys, listen. Obviously, we're going to have to jump into this, guys. We got a small amount of time to get a lot of information in here. Guys, y'all already know it's getting close to drink o'clock. Happy 4th of July weekend eve. I've just started a new event. Y'all already know it's up. We got big things popping. Apple's popping out the bando. Our court case finishes. We're going to give a little coverage on that bad boy. GDP beats. But before we do that, you already know. Cue that wind effect. Bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it. You better bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it in. From left and right, the masses, bring it in. Yeah, all right, folks, let's get down to. We got to jump into, as much requested, we've been looking for, and she's popped back up, our favorite redhead, the cougar of the year, Miss Lizard. All right, let's get down to it. Yeah.
Okay, 20 minutes to go before the closing bell rings and the world's largest company reports earnings. Investors are waiting on tenterhooks.
What I've been screaming
for Apple's fiscal second quarter results. Will they?
I got to pause already at the gate. I'm sorry. Listen, y'all already know how this stuff goes. Listen, I've been screaming it for the longest. I'm making it fully apparent, and I'm going to bash it in y'all's brains each and every single day so you can't even avoid it. The greatest generational wealth transfer is occurring right now. Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, XRP, Microsoft, Amazon, Bitcoin, Ethereum, HBAR, XLM. Who am I leaving off here? Y'all know the big names that we scream off in here. Again, I'm going to just say it because I love saying it so much. Tesla. Listen. Y'all are watching the tech sector levy. I told y'all what was coming in. We had the market sit back there. We passed that GDP. It shot up and everything calmed back down. Because we was like, wait a minute, inflation tomorrow. Guys, we had inflation meet, so there was no gain in inflation. Market's taking off. Guys, the with Tootsie is going to happen next week. You're hearing it here. You're hearing it now. You're hearing it first. The with Tootsie's jumping off next week. 4-day week. Oh, yeah. Let's get down to it. Sorry, Ms. Liz. You know I love you, baby.
Muted prediction given in January by management, which guided investors to a 5% revenue decline due to a decrease in sales. Well, that's why revenues decline. Not enough sales. But analysts will also look at the tech giant's share buybacks and the dividend. And the share buybacks are expected to come in at about $90 billion. But what else are they going to do with the big cash pile? Let's bring in one of the very first investors in Apple. And had he not sold his $300,000 investment pre-IPO, 40 years ago, would be worth $7 billion as of March 28th. Famed venture capitalist and prime.
And it sounds like a lot of time, doesn't it? 40 years. For $7 billion? I'm telling you,
Chairman
look at him, look pissed.
Patricof is here in a Fox Business exclusive. Alan, I know you probably cringe when people say, "Yeah, had you and your clients, because you gave some of them the shares not sold, that you'd be worth a lot, but you're worth a ton now because what you know about Apple, at least for us,
nice save,
is really
Liz.
important. What will you be looking for from the Apple report?"
Well, I get the same information everybody else has. Nobody has any advanced information, and the general indication is going to have a down quarter, and my impression is it's not going to change that much in the next quarter.
What a goof. I'm sorry.
But, Apple is a long-term company. It's a company that's here forever, and it's, going to be a mainstay of this economy. You just pass by a store at 7 o'clock at night and see people standing on line. You know that this is a product and a line that's going to be here forever.
Did y'all hear that, guys? We building generational wealth transfer. When I have kids, I swear on everything I love, they will be born rich. They will be taught this, and I'm going to be passing down this type of generational wealth transfer. This type of thing right here. The thing that continues to grow. 40 years ago, this man doubted innovation. Guys, we're in the timeline of where y'all are seeing this stuff even get bigger. Apple is going further than just a phone. Apple is becoming a bank. Cue on that. Has anybody seen the buy now, pay later? Y'all watch out. Y'all watch out. Y'all don't really want it. Y'all don't want them thoughts.
Let it and continue to leave it. And when you think about them buying back $90 billion worth of stock. I mean, it's a staggering amount of money, and it's only a part of their cash reserve. But I wouldn't be concerned about Apple on a long-term basis.
They bought back $90 billion in stock.
It seems to continually come out, whether it's the iPhone 14 or the next iPad version, or everything they do. Their wearables is doing very well. I even have my my Apple Watch, which I just got not more than 6 months ago, and use it daily for my running purposes, or actually I should say walk fast.
Well, tell me, yeah, I've got mine on too, Alan. Tell me what metric you would be looking at most closely. There are so many. Everybody wants to know about the share buybacks, the dividends, but the India plan, obviously they are shifting. I can't say onshoring, but they're onshoring to India from China. And it was in 2020, Alan, that they stopped giving guidance because they simply could not see 10 feet in front of their face during the lockdowns. Do you think they'll start guidance?
3-year up 130%.
Well, I think we're seeing that. I mean, there was an indication of what this quarter was going to be, and we'll see how close it comes.
From $71.
Who could predict? I
couldn't have known. I was in college.
A shift, as you said, from China to other places, including hopefully more activity in the United States, more investing in manufacturing
or just
here.
Fresh out.
But I just think that it's we've gone through the supply chain problems. That's over. The consumer right now is a little confused as to where the market, the economy's going, and so we've had a slight decline. But long term, I still see this as a great company that's going to be here forever.
We're going to be also listening very closely to Tim Cook's conference call after the bell. And conference calls have been interesting when it comes to big tech this time.
Take the advice from the guy that missed out on $7 billion, guys. That's all I'm going to say.
VentureBeat has been
you got to tell me twice, Bob.
Times CEOs mention AI or artificial intelligence on their earnings call, and Alphabet mentioned it 50 times. Meta 49, Microsoft 46. Is this a fad or is it something real? I mean, metaverse not mentioned that much anymore.
Oh, I don't think you can possibly think of this as a fad. This is I used the word before, forever. I feel that I've been part of so many revolutions during my 50-plus years in the venture business, whether it was originally in the chip revolution, and then the initial computer revolution, and Apple with the personal computer revolution.
There's
and
C3 hanging up in there.
The
sound guys, take a look at that investment.
And
that sound hound.
The internet, the 90s. I think
if you're going to dabble in it, buy them low.
Every aspect of it, Chat GPT is probably the single most dramatic development I've seen in my.
Do what you want to do, but I'm loading the deck with Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, right? Which these guys, they're about to take hold and just ring the market. Like, I mean, they already own the market, but you see how quickly these people have devolved in and taken over already. What people are kind of, I don't know if this is the time to buy it. Dollar cost average. Don't try to time the market. Don't try to time it. Do not try to time the market. You done already missed 200% trying to time. Don't time the market. Dollar cost average it. We ain't talking about tomorrow. We ain't talking about 3 months. We ain't talking about next year. We ain't talking about 2025. We talking about 5-10-year horizon. In 10 years, you think that money, that $400, that $200, that $100 you invested would have been a better call in your account, a better call waiting on the sidelines, a better call being in the play. That's all I say.
My career, and I think it's going to have a profound influence in education and medicine and in every area. And I think the biggest impact would probably be in drug discoveries, because everything can be accelerated with the ability to do testing and modeling in a much shorter time frame than we had in the past. I think it's really, really exciting, and anybody who doesn't make themselves aware of what's happening, and every company that I know of has someone or some group working in this area now. So this is no fad. This is going to be here for a long time, and it's profound.
Oh, profound. I know you're going to next week get a Venture Capitalist Award. Congratulations on that. The VCs out there, especially since the Silicon Valley Bank disaster, have gotten stingy. What are you seeing on the landscape right now? What are you hearing when it comes to them opening their wallets, and for what?
Honestly, I don't think there's any implication of what happened to SVB or Signature in terms of where the venture environment at the moment is. I think the venture environment got overheated in 21 and 22. There were some excessive valuations, and I think we're just seeing a return to realism, particularly in the later stage, the B rounds, and maybe even in the A rounds. Mm-hmm. I think in the early stage, which is mostly what I do in Primetime Partners with early stage investments at the pre-seed and seed, there really hasn't been too much change, but if there's been a change, it's a decline.
It's called how the money backing up the assets you have, like you
said. I think
that's what that
biggest profound is in these follow-on investments where people had exalted concepts in the last round and what the next round was going to be, and I think they're finding out that the next rounds are not that much greater than the last round, or perhaps modestly above or modestly below, but sanity is definitely prevailing in the venture industry at the moment.
Yeah. Sanity or as we said, stinginess. Alan, it's great to see you. I know it's always the boom and bust, but congratulations on the award, and we appreciate you coming in ahead of Apple earnings. And by the way, folks, Apple right now down just about 1% ahead of the numbers.
This was prior to the numbers. Hey, Miss Liz, yeah, you know we love you, baby. You know we love you, girl. Now listen, guys, double tapping in before we even go to that, just so y'all can see. Why y'all playing around? Hey, I love it. I absolutely love it. Like I said, Apple hits all-time high, becoming a $3 trillion company. Let's double tap into AMC so we can get kind of down to this overview of what occurred in this court hearing today. Again, not really much, guys. As y'all saw by the thumbnail, just goofy. The whole court case was goofy. What we do know is that the judge will not be making a key in on this. Judge will not be making a decision next week. So now, guys, next week, as I said, if these things all align, will be ZESTY as Hazel. Next week's gonna be not only ZESTY for AMC because it's gonna be we know that there's not gonna be her making a decision next week. So you got the short week, you've got the market that's gonna be up and ripping and bolting. So like I said, we've got a lot that's about to break down through next week. But let's go down and let's tap it our little Emily. All right, here we go. Double checking the AMC. We're still sitting at this 430 level. Like I said, all this is irrelevant to me. If it's not breaking above that 516 and moving up, that's irrelevant. See, I'm not even getting scoped in on it. AMC still sitting on the threshold list. As of yesterday, obviously, you know this all delay. We'll know tomorrow if it's still on the threshold list today, but I believe it still is. Sitting at 2,000 shares available, was just at 100,000. So these things are swapping and swapping. Last batch right now is at 251% cost to borrow. Obviously, like I said, they borrowed shares at 197. So obviously, that cost to borrow is sitting up there. Threshold still sitting up there. But again, like I said, they can hit their fraudulence and make things appear and disappear. So we're not really too much worried about that. So let's double tap in here. And then, like I said, I got a funny clip for us to watch at the end as we close out, just as a thing of what y'all need to not do this weekend, which is and leading into 4th of July, which is blow yourself up. Let's see it. Let me see if I missed anything. Just one little keynote that I put up here, guys. Take note, y'all can tell with the movement of the market, right? Like, let's go up here. Of course, you know Tesla. You know that baby Tesla up there. You know everything. Yes, sir. But like with the movement of the market, guys, everything, all the names that we know popped right after we had that inflation report beat. That is one thing I want people to key in on, where I want y'all to see how much institutional fear. Look at this, John. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at these moves. I mean, the fear of this inflation is how much money. When I say money sitting on the sideline, people, look at how quickly things just fire up as soon as, inflation's good. there is so much to come as far as this bull rally. The legs, institutions being highly underinvested. They are still over invested in cash and bonds. They have not come into these equities yet, and they're waiting for the next bad catalyst to come in and try to buy a dip, which is why I keep screaming to people, buy in now, right? So when that big money comes in, because like now I'm, NVIDIA, I'm down at 300 somewhere. And I'm going to be buying in heavy again, probably come in August, right? Because now I'm sitting up here waiting for the next dip. But like I said, I still DCA, but I came in heavy when it was around 300. Now I've got a $120 of level between me and when I bought in, right? And we still haven't had the run up of institution. When the institution buys to the next dip, I'm going to have floors and floors that are built up from how my asset. And that's how you want to be in on these companies anyway. But it's great to be up now. But like I said, this is long term. Even if I wasn't up the way I'm up, I still wouldn't be worried about it because I know this would be a 5-10 year horizon on these things. But let's go back down to what we were doing here. Come back in with markets with May. Hey, she did a hell of a job here giving us coverage. Guys, again, just as the lamest term of summary, what's going on. Allegheny isn't with you. Allegheny basically is the reason why APE was blasted down to the ground. They're basically trying to sue now that they realized that it was turned into a weapon after they created the weapon. And they want money back. And they also want $20 million because they felt like their lawyer needs $20 million because he felt like he was dealing with trolling. Guys, this is out of hand. This is out of control. I can't believe this. And again, it all correlates with the thing of where when, and the argument here, guys, so everybody fully understands, if AMC was created as a totally separate stock entity, that would be illegal, required a vote. If it was a branch of AMC, which is what they're arguing, which by technicality, we all knew that the arbitrage was APE and AMC. APE was AMC, right? Well, they broke it off. APE could have ran 30, 40, $50, but the immediate days after that occurred, Allegheny took it upon themselves. They had a 3,000 IQ and shorted it to the floor. At that time, Ontario, there was no plan by Adam Ayer or anybody how they just needed to start disperse things. So I feel that was a quick jump. They had to do something. All right, we got to do something. We got to make something. We got to do something. They had to, but they didn't have an actual plan in mind. Allegheny, unless planted, unless with them guys, and like I said, we can go down a million rabbit holes with this, but like I said, we just gonna stick to what we know. They shorted it to oblivion, came out. That's the reason the price dropped down. They could have just as easily bought it to oblivion if they thought it was a Trojan horse, right? And that could have sent it the opposite way, but they took it upon themselves to try to be like, oh, we're gonna kill this thing here, even though that was again money that was taken from AMC, which is like I don't understand how y'all are supposed to be so brilliant, but it wasn't like it was like a dividend that was created for free. They took a portion of AMC's price and brought that over to make APE. We all knew that. So you were just shorting AMC. But nonetheless, what's the objectors that came in today? They would say they were a little bit more articulate than Allegheny was yesterday. But like I said, it still talks. What they're arguing didn't hit on any of the keynotes. Like I said, all the objection, all the stuff that we figured out about dark pools and things like that. I guess maybe, I don't know if it's not that easy for them to prove, but I would have thought it would have been easy to show Intera dumping shares right after the vote. You know what I mean? Hundreds of millions of shares. But like they didn't bring any of this to the awareness of the court. It was just really a bunch of talk. But like I said, let's get over and talk so the video ain't 50 million minutes long. We can go ahead and get down to drink a clock. Now let's get down to it. Starting off, this is how she ended. First up, very articulate gentleman who sadly had a few items wrong. Some of the stuff he spoke is like a spoken word art, right? So like I said, some of the guys' information wasn't even correct. Like the unadulterated, incorrect information that's coming out here of these people's mouths is just is sad. I said, hell, you could have had me up in there if we was just going to. Hey, I could have winged it better than this, right? But here we go. Except when dilution does subtract a percentage of ownership. This is correct. This is correct to be upset. The reverse split does not change the percentage of ownership, which was the argument he was making. 2, the executive compensation. Execs either make money via stock or via cash. If you are paying an exec in stock only, example GME, it looks great in the early years when the cash might be a problem. Later, dilution / cash out sales can be bad, especially if the exec cashes out to buy Twitter. She's just using examples of how it could have been a good thing or a bad thing depending on what occurred, but it never really made to the point. He said he was upset that he could not buy. These are some of the points that he made that were incorrect. This is what he's saying. This is like her counter to be like, hey, that's incorrect. He was also upset that he could not buy shares at 60-cent level like Onterra. And here's the lady showing that's factually untrue. You had a few days where you could have bought it at the same price, nearly a month to buy it up under $1. And here's the chart of that showing that, where you could have bought it at 60-cent price. So like I said, all of this is already starting to look bad. Let me see. Make sure I don't click the wrong thing. All this is already starting to look bad coming out because the information that is being said is not valid, right? And of course, the 6 months, this is what, I mean, what did y'all do? Did they come up with this in the first month and then just sit back for the next 5? I mean, it makes me wonder if they, like I said, were just knowing that AMC was in a bind and needed to get this done, so they knew they were getting a settlement. Because like this art, none of this stuff has any validity. 4, the other dissenters were unable to make, I guess these are the objectors, were unable to make it to court. And guys, like I said, we had 2 out of 13 people, which is crazy. Hence, the judge is moving to close it out. Final statements are being made, and this is why this all went faster, because half the people that were supposed to be objected didn't show up. Mostly, probably because they realized, hey, we ain't about to go up and look stupid for these people. They are highlighting and reiterating the scoop of the hearing. Not all naked shorting and market mechanics. Number 5, the plaintiff's lawyer is arguing the point is this form of financial engineering should not be allowed in the future. Which, okay, that's valid. Judge paused him right there and asked him to be more specific about precisely what he is saying is wrong and shouldn't be allowed. Here's where it starts to take a turn. 6, she's trying to get him to clarify I think it's Blazes is how it says, and I looked it up so we can know what this is, just so y'all can have what the word is. Despite being one of the more well-known doctors in corporate law, the rule articulated Blazes, or how you say this, guys, the directors who act in the primary purpose of interfering with stockholders' votes must have a compelling justification for their conduct. So basically, he's arguing that there wasn't enough justification for them to be able to just overstep shareholders' votes or shareholders' wishes, what he's trying to argue against, right? Which is better than Allegheny just coming in and saying, hey, yeah, we made a stupid move and we want money back for it. So, I mean, at least we're using some type of rhetoric here, right? Let's see here. Unable to answer Blazes, which means I guess he didn't know what the definition was, is overriding the shareholder vote. But he so far hasn't been able to demonstrate this is what happened, or that is what is done with malicious intent given yesterday. So guys, basically simply enough, all they had to do was put up Onterra dropping those shares literally right after the vote. That would have been an example to use. But apparently they couldn't figure that out. They couldn't pull that. This is nuts to me. He gave a long answer about how it undermines the concept of a corporate structure. Paraphrasing, this is what she said. She's like, but how do we think of it if they didn't? But how do we think of it if they did it? Because they is a high potential. They would go bankrupt. I guess she had some misprint. I guess what she's saying is, but how do we think of this if they thought it was a high potential they would go bankrupt? A very poor way of answering. I hope that that's not what he said verbatim. If that's what he said verbatim, I'm going to literally send this guy a picture of my butt. Literally, just send it to him and be like, hey, can you kiss this? Like just a raw picture of it. 8, a very poor way of answering. He's saying because there was an external threat and terror, so unicolopized. And I looked this up, I couldn't find anything. I'm assuming that this was another company or something that occurred where they were kind of similar to this, and there's a ruling, but I couldn't figure out what the actual what this was defined to. Another one, we'll see it pop up some more. In other words, he's saying that they helped the short sellers by issuing more shares. And this is where the point of where it's like, all of this goes to Neil based off of Allegheny's first argument. Whether or not Onterra helped or not, which at this point, I'm realizing your biggest enemy was Allegheny. Allegheny shorted the stock down. They were the initiator of all of this. So if Onterra comes in and buys up all the shares, and Onterra happens to be the bank for AMC, and they're doing this conversion to swap, Onterra is the third person party. It's like being the third passenger in a shooting, in a drive-by shooting. The guy with the gun He's liable. The driver can be liable, but the person in the back be like, hey, I was just here, right? Well, Intera is now just here because you had AMC. Then you had these guys short the stock. AMC be like, hey, we didn't make a different stock. This was still part of AMC. We didn't make the price go down. They made the price go down. So that automatically starts to undermine and eliminate 90% of what the argument here is. But keep it going. Let's see here. In other words, he's saying that they help short sellers by issuing more shares. All right, 9. Judd responds, sounds like you like me to push Unical into issues of where the company is trying to fund itself. She isn't acknowledging that the deal was one to help the short sellers. By the way, that's what the claim is making. So basically, she's saying, wait a minute. The company has a right to try to raise cash. That's what really the stock is. That's what stock market is. That's cash on hand. They didn't teeter in or talk about any of the fraud occurring. It's like these guys don't really know what was going on. I don't know if these guys weren't really in depth. I don't know. Like I said, obviously they're not apes or AMC, so they haven't dove this deep into it, but they didn't have any speaking points. Like they didn't have anything to back what they said. It was like they almost just were reiterating words that we said, but they really didn't know what was going on. This is nuts to me. 10. His response. Well, whether it's true or not, I think you still have to leave it on the table so that people can still sue. Wording suggests fair or not fair for AMC. I'd like to make sure people can still sue even if one day the company wasn't facing bankruptcy. So basically, the argument now that they moved to is that now he's not even... I want y'all to see how the arguments have dwindled down. Even when he came in, they're not specifically pointing to anything. They don't have any factual information. Now he's arguing that he wants this case to be left open to where somebody can come in and sue because they don't know what's going to happen after the reverse split. So basically, he's already admitting that a reverse split is going to go down. 11. So the judge is rephrasing the question, paraphrasing. The Unical setting seems specific to the Unical situation since and I think this is where it shows, I think there was like either this was a court case or it was a company, since they weren't having a bankruptcy issue. So basically, AMC isn't bankrupt, right? Is there a way to make that general, for example, not just Unical setting? Basically saying that doesn't tie what you're trying to use for an example. It doesn't tie, because even though AMC's in debt, AMC didn't necessarily ever file for bankruptcy. So like, even though they were close to it, even though we knew they were in bad situation, they weren't bankrupt yet. So it's like all this stuff was cash raising. You see what I'm saying? 12. The lawyer clarifies his issue concerns the blazes. I don't know why they have to use these ridiculous words. The board should not be allowed to do something against shareholder will, ability, timing, vote. Solid. That's true enough, but you're not proving that that's what occurred. What makes the AMC APE case an issue is that instead of arguing fair and unfair as it relates to what needed to be done, the company, the lawyers appeared to be focused on setting case law for Blaze to be evoked. So this is what I said. They were focused on basically trying to pull out this, right? Which basically was saying that they overstepped shareholders and they were looking for reasons why that could be evoked instead of actually laying out, hey, this occurred, here's this information. And Terra dumped these shares. They're taking this percentage of the shares to dark pool. Here's the dark pool percentage. Here's the dark pool not reporting. Here's the AMC short interest from here to here. You can't have a shortage. Here's AMC utilization for a stock to be. They didn't do any of that, right? They didn't have anything for the judge to be like, okay. All right, just so we know that everybody can be on the same timeline, where we at? If there is an aggressive short seller, Unical, not a company in bankruptcy, would disallow the board from issuing shares, allowing the short seller to cover, right? So basically, they're trying to argue that AMC was in cahoots with the short seller, but again, there's no specific proof of that, right? You can't really prove that. Now, Allegheny lawyer is suggesting Miss Izzo's lawyer claims that he could do better, lacks any commentary on what additional claims he has against AMC APE, and also how much could he make above the 100 million settlement he's getting for AMC. So basically, the shot back. Basically, what I just said, they didn't say anything. They haven't said anything. told it. They haven't brought any real information, which we saw from the first case. Was like, this is a clown case. This is goofy. This is cool. Hey, I hope you like that. That was good. 16. Now he's arguing the release of the future claims is fine. The judge must decide that the release is too broad in order to accept the settlement. 17. Further clarifying, the release is too broad because it goes back to August. The Blazes claim was too broad. So he's saying going back to the idea that he thought there was a great claim and great claims in August. 18. This is the opposite of yesterday. He's now saying that the mirror voting was always a problem and then used as a weapon later. Yesterday it was a Trojan horse. Like I said, that's what their point of the reason behind why they shorted it was a Trojan horse. And not mirror voting at the time, which is why you can't have both. Which get out of the way. Which meant people should sell APE, and then once sold, the mirror voting became an issue. I don't know what that last portion is. 19. So now he's arguing that Izzo's lawyer is ridiculous because few cases are ever resolved in the non-figure and demean it as a poultry is wrong. Let's be clear. This also means that his $20 million fee for 6 months of work is also one of the largest in Delaware. Basically, now they're getting shot at because they're pointing at, wait a minute, you're getting $100 million for this? And then the lawyer wants $20 million? She's going to ask why the lawyer wants $20 million. Finally, Allahan lawyer feels he deserves the $20 million because he's taken a lot of trolling on the internet and otherwise. What? All right. So, I'm obviously going to have the link. Y'all can finish reading this down here. Just the premise. Guys, this whole thing was malarkey. I know that there's another court case that's occurred, that's occurring, they're putting together, but this right here, guys, wrap it up. We're having a conversion. The conversion's happened. Wrap it up. They need to pull the fire alarm again. They need to pull it again. This was horrible. They didn't do anything. I mean, they did not do anything. They didn't say anything that retail's been screaming about. They didn't do anything. That's malarkey. What occurred here is malarkey, people. I can't believe this. And like I said, we're going to post links so everybody can do their reading over. Guys, this was a joke. But nonetheless, before we close out, I found this hilarious just to end out on a funnier note than that court case. I cannot believe that we set up here. And like I said, even with the people that was running off, oh, you will sound like you're okay with the court. I said, nobody's okay, but I just got prepared because I just did not have faith in these people. As soon as I said, wait a minute, y'all raised the court case a day later. All right, we're going to settle. Yep, we're down for it. What? I said, I already knew. I said, wait a minute. Why would you settle like that? I'll tell you why they're selling, because they're getting $100 million paid from by the company, and Adam Aaron is just getting them out the way. This was a joke. And again, that's not retail. They are not us. I don't know who these people are. That's an opposition. That was a rogue that came in here. These are rogue players that's just getting free money, which is absurd because we can't get our money. But hell, they might be the reason why you're missing money. If y'all want to point fingers at somebody, because we found out who shorted APE to Smithers. When that thing shot up to 10, that was them coming in, blowing it down. Hell, the way they got it looking in there, Intera looks like the hero because they were the one that was buying the stock. They were the one buying the APE. Allahan was the one blasting it down. How can you point for them to be that they're the ones attacking the play and you the one attacking the play? That's nuts to me, guys. This is nuts. But guys, again, watch this. This is saying y'all be safe over this 4th of July weekend. Obviously, you know we're going to tune back in on Monday, but just don't blow yourselves up. Watch this here. Watch over here now. This is all the fireworks.
You cannot stick it in the ground. It's not going to work.
Who did that?
You got to put it in the shoe.
Guys, listen. Just remember, you thought you was having a bad day. At least you ain't blowing your house up. All right, guys, much love. Y'all know we're going to be bringing it back in. But I don't see y'all this weekend. I'll see y'all on Monday. I'll probably hit y'all with a prep week on Sunday. But like I said, guys, we got a zesty week coming ahead. This is going to be price swinging all through with AMC and APE. And then the markets are going to be on green bean. I'm just telling you how it's going to come as we close into that 4th of July, which is going to give us a short week. Y'all, much love. Y'all know what's next on. Yes, sir!